Shine on, you crazy diamond. Hey, everybody. Welcome to StudentLawJustice.org. It is Wednesday. I'm going to keep it very short tonight. First thing, I'm thrilled to report that we are now officially over halfway of our new goal. We changed it a little bit towards getting our van replaced. My van, the SLJ van. So we've raised over $4,000 at this point, and that's in, I think, less than a week, believe it or not. So we are on a real tear here. So about 120 people roughly have contributed. Dudes, I really need to ask you, if you're within the sound of my voice, would you please pitch something in so that we can get on the road again? You know, over many years past, this SLJ van, and look at this GoFundMe thing, and you can see pictures of it and stuff. It's proven to be absolutely critical for our success. We have some major travel to be doing here in the coming months, including going to Iowa, Texas, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, probably Florida, Arizona for sure, Michigan, likely Pennsylvania. We've got many states to cover starting this summer. So, dudes, if you care about this movement and if you care about this group, please kick in for this. The sooner, the better. The old SLJ van is toast, and we need to get a much better, more reliable vehicle coming up. So please help. Only you can help us in this fight. We don't have any income revenue that we can point to from anywhere else, not advertising. We certainly don't do any shady deals with shady people. In fact, we don't do any deals with anyone. We don't sell our members out. We are as grassroots gets. So your personal gift literally keeps us in operation. And by the way, thanks to everybody who has made this first week so freaking strong for us. I am thrilled. And this van is going to pay for itself in spades. So please help if you would. So I can shut up about it, because I suck at fundraising and I'm no good at it. And I would much rather be spending my time fighting this battle. And it's a big battle right now, guys. I'm going to keep it quick tonight. First of all, the point of tonight's broadcast, unfortunately, I have to inform you all that, this new bankruptcy process that we were critical in getting to happen with the Department of Education. I was trying to find a silver lining in the thing, and on first read of the guidance, I was under the impression that this would essentially be, well, first of all, it sucks. We were not pleased with what it is. And I can talk about it if you're interested. But more importantly, more to the point, in the past couple of days, I was saying that it may be a good thing for people who were already going to file for bankruptcy anyway, because I believed at the time that one could fill out this attestation form and at least get an answer from the Department of Education whether they would be challenged in an adversarial proceeding in a bankruptcy filing on their student loans or not. And I was under the impression that they could quickly and at little or no cost do this attestation form and find out from the Department of Education whether to pursue their adversarial proceeding further. Well, folks, I'm here to tell you that unfortunately, that's not correct. I also said, by the way, that if people had filed for bankruptcy recently, may very well be worthwhile for them to reopen their claim and try and pursue this. Both of those things are false, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, forget that I said those things. And I hate to correct myself, but it's a function of new information coming in. Nobody knows how this new bankruptcy process is really going to shake out. But what I do know is that you still have to pay a ton of money to a lawyer to do an adversarial proceeding, to even do this attestation form. And the way, so even that little bit of goodness to where, because before you had to do an adversarial proceeding, you had to come up against an opposition in court and the judge would determine undue hardship. Now you fill out this attestation form, but it's still technically considered to be part of an adversarial proceeding. So you still have to file an adversarial proceeding with a lawyer and all that entails. And I'm told from some lawyers on the ground that, yeah, they're still charging like $4,000 to even do this. So guys, they're now I can say, and tell everyone, in case they were led to believe otherwise, because I know there's a lot of law firms out there that are claiming this is a new hope for bankruptcy and student loan borrowers. No. That's not true, guys. There's really no benefit that I can see anymore with this new bankruptcy process as it's been rolled out by the Department of Education. There's just nothing good that I can really say for it. Some lawyers would say, oh yeah, well, they've loosened their undue hardship criteria, and yeah, that may or may not be true. We won't know for many months to see how, until we have a statistically significant number of cases to be run through this process to even know if that's true. Frankly, I don't think it is. But even that first thing, even the little tiny sliver of hope that I saw as really probably a good thing for borrowers, that's not there. So sorry, guys. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but and I try to look on the bright side of everything, but there just really is not any bright side that I can see this new bankruptcy process, which is really too bad, because the whole thing started with us. We were, in fact, when we were traveling through Iowa, when we were traveling all across the state of Iowa, talking to presidential candidates, it was there that the ball started getting rolling. It was not only our conversations with Joe Biden's campaign manager, but also our conversations with James Cavall, for example, the Undersecretary of Education. And initially, I'll fill you in a little bit. Initially, the idea was that the Department of Education was supposed to simply stop opposing student loan borrowers in bankruptcy court, period. So that when they went through their adversarial proceeding, no adversary would show up in court to fight against them. And so this would essentially, not perfectly, but essentially return bankruptcy rights to the loans. That didn't happen. And yeah, as I said, even the small tangential benefit that I was hoping would be the case turns out to be not even the case. So guys, we still need to get bankruptcy rights returned to student loans. By the way, if you're new to the group, welcome. You're probably going, why is this guy always talking about bankruptcy? I don't want to file for bankruptcy. Yeah, no, I know. Nobody wants to file for bankruptcy. But the founding fathers knew that bankruptcy was so important that they called for it in the Constitution, ahead of the power to declare war and raise an army. And I'm here to tell you, as a practical matter, today, right now, no matter what you want to see happen with your student loans, whether you want the president to cancel them or the secretary to cancel them completely, whether you want, a break on interest, whether you want some other middling solution for your student loans, we're not going to see anything meaningful, guys, until we get the threat of bankruptcy returned. So that remains our number one goal and what we're fighting for tooth and nail. Now, I would think most everyone just wants their loans to go away, and I'm totally with you on that. This group, if you're new to the group, this group started the entire public conversation about canceling student loans by executive order. We are fully on board, and we are 1,000,000%. In fact, we are the original initial driving force behind the whole cancel student loans by executive order thing in the first place. And I suppose we have a lot to be proud of in that we now have a sitting president, Biden, who indeed has announced a student loan cancellation by executive order. We're not thrilled with how it was rolled out. We don't believe that Biden was sincere at all in how he did it. We don't think that he wanted to do it, and we don't think he wants to cancel loans. So this Supreme Court lawsuit, quite frankly, may as well be the Department of Education suing itself, because the Department of Education has never had any desire or intentions. And this includes the President Biden, never had any true intentions or desires to actually cancel student loans. So guys, it's a new congressional session. We're still fighting for two things. Number one, bankruptcy. Number two, student loan cancellation. It's going to be tougher this year than it was last year. You know, we had, and we're officially non-partisan group. We pretty much can't stand either of the parties. We used to like the Democrats a little more than the Republicans because the rhetoric was a little friendlier from them. But, you know, guys, I'm sorry to report that the Democrats betrayed us last session. They betrayed us big time. Dick Durbin had a great bipartisan bill in the Senate. We had what would have been a great bipartisan bill in the House that would have returned bankruptcy rights to student loans. And at the 11th hour, the Democrats simply decided, without giving any real good reason, they decided to abandon this legislation and not pass it. They had the ability to pass this bill last session. Now we're back to a gridlock Congress. So it's going to be tougher this year. I know that we can do it. And the greatest strength that I can share with you tonight is I know that the lending system is failed. Student loans are vanishing or even vanished at this point into a mist of popular illegitimacy. The lending system is dead, guys. It's toast. The pandemic was the nail in the coffin. Now, this could have two endings. Well, this could have multiple endings, but two major endings. First of all, the loans will be canceled. That's just a mathematical fact. The loans will not be paid by and large. Very few people will ever resume paying on their federal student loans whenever they turn the loans back on. Even before the pandemic, 60% had stopped paying on their loans. So the lending system is dead. The loans will be canceled. The only question is A or B, whether A or B will happen. A, the loans are canceled quickly and cleanly in a way that helps the economy, helps the country, helps you, and allows us all to put this ridiculous problem in our own personal rear view mirrors, or whether the loans are canceled the hard way, the dystopian way, years or decades from now, when you frankly perish, whether the loans will be canceled through your demise, through your death. And we don't want that second thing, guys. This lending debacle, it needs to be erased sooner rather than later. And, you know, as I said, we've got Republicans on this group. We've got Democrats on this group. We have people like me who are probably more libertarian than anything. I can't stand either party, guys. Both parties have just blatantly betrayed us. But, you know, we're facing a lot of music this year. We've got a lot of I'm trying to be generous in how I say this. We have people who are very uninformed. I'm not going to say they're unintelligent, but many of them are. But we have many very uninformed people where as soon as you mention student loan cancellation, the first thing out of their mouth, they don't even have to think, is no. Why should my tax dollars pay for your loan? Pay your debt. We've got that crowd. And we're being targeted, by the way, on Twitter right now, which is probably good. I mean, it's a good sign in that we've clearly touched a nerve. Like I did one post yesterday talking about how quick the federal government was to step in and offer to start writing checks to shareholders of or account holders of the Silicon Valley Bank. All that stuff adds to the national debt, by the way. Every check the Treasury writes adds to the national debt and requires, money to be drawn from the Treasury. And how quick the government was to go, oh, yeah, no. We're going to make sure all those SVB account holders are made whole. We're writing checks right now. That's very expensive. Whereas canceling all federally owned student loan debt, it's essentially free to the government. It adds not one penny to the national debt. It requires not even a dime to be drawn from the Treasury. And the taxpayers have already made back nearly every nickel, or actually every nickel, that they've lent out on this thing. So there's actually not any true cost to the federal government. Now, our opposition, and I somehow imagine, I tend to think, especially after today, that there is that our opposition is in the business of Twitter bots and other bots and like electronic warfare, informational wars, and so forth. Our opposition claims, oh no, student loan cancellation will cost, even Biden's lame, feckless $10,000 cancellation will cost $400 billion or $1 trillion. That's all complete bullshit. They're talking about future profits. They're not talking about the government actually losing any money. The government has made all of its money back on this loan scam, and it is a scam. It's an unconstitutional scam. And as I said, all the loans could be canceled tomorrow. Not one dime would be out in the national debt. Not one penny would be taken from the Treasury. And on balance, the taxpayers are breaking about even. You can't say that about any other stimulus program. You can't say that about, I think, any other government loan program. Certainly can't say it about PPP loans. Those suckers were expensive. Canceling federally owned student loans is super cheap. In fact, it's free. And so don't believe any of the rhetoric you hear from our opposition in whatever form they may take, claiming that canceling student loans will cost the taxpayers this and that and the other thing. Those people are completely full of shit. They're playing the same trick that Enron executives played 20 years ago. So what Enron would do is they would point to a barge in Africa and they go, yeah, that might look like about a $5,000 barge, but in actual fact, that barge is going to produce energy someday. That barge is going to produce, 20,000 barrels of oil a day or something stupid. So, yeah, that barge right there is actually worth $10 million. And that would give them $10 million of an asset on their books for whatever purposes they wanted to tell that lie for. But at the end of the day, guys, it was just a barge. It was not worth $10 million. The $1.6 trillion in outstanding federal student loan debt, it's not actually worth 1.6 trillion. In fact, it's worth a tiny, tiny fraction of that. It may be worth nothing because remember, nobody has paid on their federal student loans for 3 years now, mostly. Essentially, no one has paid. And whenever they turn this lending system back on, very, very few people will pay. My best estimate is that something like 15, maybe as high as 20% of the borrowers will actually resume paying. So in other words, 80% of all borrowers will not resume paying. And I think within a few months of them turning the loans back on, that's going to go down from there. It could go down to zero. We don't know what's going to happen between now and September 1st, but I do know this: student loans are now literally one big national joke. Well, maybe not literally. No, I think literally is the right word for this. Student loans are literally a national joke at this point. They're not to be taken seriously. And folks, I would just hope that you would understand how strong We, the citizens, are. We own this lending program. The haters on Twitter and whoever else, they have nothing to say about the fate of this lending program. We, the borrowers, are the final word on the validity, legitimacy of this lending program. And we've already spoken, and we've said very loudly, this lending program is finished. So I would only say, in my humble opinion, it's not only unwise, it's unpatriotic for you to ever pay another dollar back on your federal student loans. I know some people will. People are going to do what they're going to do. But I will say this: if you ever pay money into your federal student loans again, you will be in the tiny minority of all borrowers. The overwhelming majority of all borrowers will not be resuming paying on their federal student loans. So you want to be a chump? Go be a chump, and that's up to you. You're still welcome on this group, by the way, if you're aligned with our mission of returning bankruptcy to loans and canceling the loans by executive order. Hey, so I'm also thrilled to announce, guys, our big project right now, our big action is getting everyone out there, including you sitting there. I see you. To write and get a letter to the editor of your local newspaper published, calling either for loan cancellation, for the return of bankruptcy to student loans, or both. And I'm thrilled to report to you tonight, thanks to very passionate people like Jackie Abron, like Nicholas Linky, like Lisa Ansel, like Aaron Root, and quite a few others. I'm thrilled, and myself, by the way. We've gotten around 15 letters to the editor published in local newspapers across the country. Most voluminously the state of Texas. And oh, that's a good thing. Texas is actually absolutely wrecked by this debt. So I'm just thrilled. I got my letter published today in the Wisconsin State Journal, which is, I believe, the largest newspaper in the state. And it wasn't hard, guys. I literally banged out a couple paragraphs, less than 150 words. We're talking like 12 sentences or something. And yep, I sent it to them last Friday and they published it today. And it was easy to do. And I would urge you, I would beg you, if I thought it would help, get your letter to the editor published. This stuff really helps, and it's cheap and very easy to do. Jackie and all the other people I mentioned will tell you it's very easy to get a letter to the editor published. And if you look up or down on our Facebook group, you can see, I think, all of these letters, links to them published on our Facebook group. So if you need any pointers as to what you might say, just look at any or all of the letters that we've already gotten done and just say something like that. It's not rocket science. It just requires a tiny bit of effort. So good on you all. I'm looking for your questions and comments now on Facebook or Twitter. I said I was going to keep it short tonight, and I'm going to hold to that. But I hope you guys are thrilled. And I hope you're donating to get our van replaced, by the way. Sorry, guys. I have to keep harping on that. It's just so important. And, you know, we actually need regular donations as well, but I've been sort of forgoing asking for donations through our normal channel while we're raising money for this van to our great injury. Not great injury yet, but we have some electricity bills and so forth coming up that can't wait much longer. So please just help us knock this damn thing out. 120 people have donated for this van already. We've got 1.4 million people on our group. Not that you would know, but at least on paper, that's true. Will you not please step up and join the 120 people who have kicked in for this thing so I can shut up about it? I'd much rather be telling you about all the success that we've been having with all of our various actions and initiatives. Okay, I'm looking for your comments right now. I'm going to go through them as quickly as I can tonight. Hey, Eric Peters is with us tonight. Hey, Eric. If I can find the live stream, let me do a refresher. But yeah, guys, we touched a nerve with the bad guys. The bad guys are out in force against us. And frankly, I love that. Frankly, we should get an invite from Fox News again to go on and go toe to toe with them. You know, the Republicans should be our friends, guys. This is we make a very conservative argument at the root of it. This is a weaponized big government lending scam that no true conservative should support. So we should find a very friendly audience among conservatives everywhere. And what I've found is that every conservative that I talk to, even if they come into the conversation saying, why should my tax dollars pay for your college? Even if they come in with that, if I have a real honest engagement with them, 100% of the time, at the end of the conversation, they go, oh, I had no idea. I'm on your side. I want you to succeed. These loans must be canceled. More than that, they come away saying, this lending system has got to be ended. It's a national threat. You know, a lot of people are afraid of, a lot of conservatives are afraid of like socialism and communism. Well, by their own argument, the worst thing that we could be doing right now is paying money into this loan scam, which only serves to make the colleges richer. And remember, conservatives are scary shitless of the colleges. They loathe and fear the colleges. So guys, there's no good reason why we can't be making great inroads with conservatives. But for the bad, fake conservatives out there who claim to be conservatives, but what they really are a bunch of stooges, a bunch of sycophants, a bunch of swamp creatures fighting for this lending system. And they're fighting for the colleges too, make no mistake. And there are a lot of bad fake conservatives out there. And the rank and file conservatives, they're pretty easily fooled from what I have seen. Well, I shouldn't say that. Everybody's unique, but certainly on Twitter, there is a gaggle of so-called conservatives who go out of their way to attack us. And it's just the stupidest thing in the world. Damn it. I can't seem to find the live stream, guys. I don't know what's going on here. Let me do one last refresh. I may not be able to even see the live stream tonight. I know we're streaming, but it's just that the live stream is not showing up. So I hope you guys are stoked, by the way. Getting 15 letters in 15 different newspapers across the country, including very prominent newspapers like the Los Angeles Times, the Salt Lake Tribune, the San Antonio Express, not bad. The Wisconsin State Journal, not bad. And many other newspapers. That's very, very helpful. And it's easy to do, and it's free. So what else were you going to do with 10 minutes? Is it not worth 10 minutes of your time to write a letter and fire it off to the editor of your public newspaper? The editor of your local newspaper. Oh, there I am. Okay, good. I can't seem to find the live stream, guys. I don't know what's going on here. But like I said, we're kind of running short on time anyways. Editor of your local newspaper. Oh, there I am. Okay, good. I can't seem to shut the fuck up. Sorry. If you're as tired as hearing my voice as I am. Anyways, I'm going to get through as many of your comments as we can. I see we have quite a few here. I apologize in advance if I can't. Hey, Heather Taylor's with us. Heather, good to see you. She hails from, used to be Lyon, France. She is a proud expatriate, and she runs our international chapter, our expat chapter. Heather says, what gifts do we need right now, Alan Collins? YouTube chapter is coming very soon. Oh, good. What gifts? Oh, you're making me think out of the side of my head. What gifts do we need? Well, right now, the main topics, the main graphics that I'm liking to throw around. Number one is our borrower slideshow, where we show slides of snapshots of our members and how much they've repaid on their student loans. Like Vanjie borrowed $26,000, repaid $100,000, still owes $132,000. Like a woman I just talked to earlier today, I will call her Julie. in Illinois. She borrowed $48,000. She's repaid $180,000 on a $48,000 loan. She still owes $59,000. So she's paid 4 times more than she originally borrowed, nearly 3 times, certainly. She still owes more than she borrowed originally. And we've got dozens and dozens. Frankly, we've got thousands, but we have slides for dozens of these people. I would love to see more gifts out there that showcase these borrowers. People have no idea how much of a racket this is, but seeing these real examples from real people really helps it hit home. I would also say, Heather, that just generally gifts that target Republicans, gifts that target conservatives, and opens their eyes and hopefully makes the scales fall off of their eyes to what a predatory big government, college enriching, red state wrecking, did I say weaponized? Weaponized big government loan scam this thing is. The more we can make gifts towards that point that illustrate that, the better. The more that we can show that the people being hurt by this are not liberal snowflakes by and large. In fact, the large majority of all student loan borrowers are either Republican or independent. That's true. bit.ly/most GOP. Check out that link. Heather says, I can get some more stories added. Yeah, that'd be great, Heather. I'm making more slides myself. I'll send you the latest slideshow here in the next hour or so. Hey, Lisa Ansel from California says, Lisa was instrumental in getting a letter to the editor published in the Los Angeles Times a couple weeks ago. Lisa says, I hate the response, well, they knew the terms before they signed their loans. People always say that. They go, you knew what you saw. You should have read the fine print, is what they say, or you should have read your contract. I'm here to tell you, nowhere in any student loan contract is it evoked to the borrower, is the borrower ever told that unlike every other type of loan in this country, federal student loans are uniquely stripped of bankruptcy rights. Never, ever is it ever, not even in the super fine print, is it ever mentioned that student loans are stripped uniquely of statutes of limitations. These loans have, as I said, have been weaponized. They've been given licenses to steal. And quite frankly, those omissions, it's never been tested in a court of law, but those very basic omissions, it's essentially like selling someone a car that has no brakes and not telling them that the car you're selling them, unlike every other car on the road, has no brakes. That is an omission that calls into very serious question the legitimacy of the contract itself.